Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new daily episode of the Bones Diary series. It's technically day 21, and just got back from all my major appointments for today. Had my first appointment, which was my interview. The interview went pretty well. It went very well, so I'm very happy with that. Let's just see what happens going onward from there. And then afterwards, went to my eye appointment. Got my eyes dilated, so I'm looking at the screen and it hurts like hell. But here we are. You got to do what you can do. You know what you got to do. That's fine. Overall though, can't complain. It's going. It's pushing along, so that's okay. Just gotta ride along with it and see what happens. It's all. I would say just nothing really much going on. Trying to see some friends tomorrow. That'll be for tomorrow evening, trying to see them, because it's been a while, and I miss them, truly speaking. I really do miss them. So, let's just see what happens there. I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of miss doing stuff, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of going out and everything, I just kind of miss doing stuff. When I was younger, I used to do that all the time. I admit, I would skip school. I'd skip detention, just go out and meet up with friends and hang out with them and just do dumb stuff. I still remember I had a friend of mine. He was technically legally blind, and he couldn't really drive or anything, or couldn't do anything because he had the whole he just couldn't see. Literally, he was blind. So we would have him in a wagon, and we would just we would pull on the wagon with a rope, and one of us would be wearing roller skates while holding on to another person who was riding a bike, and then I had another friend who had his bike, and then another dude would be behind him, but on the spokes of the wheel. You know what I mean? He would just be kind of holding that and just kind of riding along. So it was a fun time, and it's just very amusing, because I miss doing goofy stuff like that. I mean, I can't complain because right now we got the whole cars, we got bigger, better modes of transportation, but I just kind of miss doing just dumb stuff like that. It had its own sort of, I guess, joy in it. You know what I mean? I enjoy driving my car, but it's just, more so everyone else on the road is practically insane. Quite literally practically insane. It's just what the hell are you doing, what are you doing? You're turning into my lane without no god dang friggin', indicators or nothing. You're speeding along, hard braking. What's going on here? You know what I mean? It's just dumb stuff. But, again, either way, it's just, I still get to point A to point B, so, not too bad. And I realize that, when you're on the road especially, is that you need to go with a mindset that, you are the only sane person on the road, and everyone else is practically insane. That's it. That's the key to success, especially when it comes to driving, nowadays. But, no, what can you do? Literally on the way back from the eye appointment, there was a 4-car wreck. That's what happens when you're just flying down the road and it starts raining and you just can't stop because you're going way above the speed limit. What can you do? But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. Hopefully the plans come through, because if so, then I'd like to just go out and do fun stuff. It's just more fun doing stuff with friends, you know what I mean? Because when you kind of go out by yourself, it's okay, I'm here and there, but even when you're kind of outside, you can tell some people, they just want to be kind of left alone. And some people, they kind of came with their own friends. They're kind of in their own clique and everything too. So it's I don't really want to bother no one. No, I don't want to, be kind of weird and, and be intrusive into another person's kind of sphere, personal space. So I'm just kind of doing my own thing. But having your own kind of group of friends, it just kind of makes it enjoyable, because it's you're already in a fun setting and you're already with people that you enjoy and like to be with. It's just a thrill, But yeah. The other night I was thinking about some of my old friends, they passed away a while back, but I still think about them, because it's there is no one else like them that I've ever met in my life, you know what I mean? So I usually do think about them, and I was thinking about damn, what would they say? What would they say, if I did this or do that? And they were all very supportive, and they were all also very real as hell. They're oh, this is dumb. Why are you doing this? This is stupid. This is the stupidest choice you're making. They didn't sugarcoat anything. That's what I'm trying to say. And I appreciated that about them a lot. And I think that's also why I appreciate my current friends a lot, because they don't sugarcoat anything either. They tell you when it's your mistake, when it's your fault. So it's fantastic. But they just keep it real, 100%. I miss them, and I think about them because it's like, what, I wish they were here to do fun stuff with too. I love my current friends. I love them. I appreciate them. I adore them. But being with the old childhood friends, it's just different sphere. It's a different ballpark. Because I'd known these guys, guys and girls, like from kindergarten all the way to like the beginning year of college. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that. So needless to say, much stronger attachment, much stronger bond there. But it's all right. It's all right. I just I don't know. I just really miss them. Yeah. I realize it's a bit awkward, talking about it because I don't want to really say much in terms of like what happened to them or anything, but it's just fun, I still remember like, going out with them and like, having a buddy of mine crushing on like a local barista, and he's like, "Oh, I want to date her," and everything, and I try to set him up, be like the wingman sort of thing, like, "Hey, my friend over there, he's kind of interested in you, but he's a little shy. If you don't mind, can you just talk to him for a little bit?" She's like, "Yeah, I can talk to him." He goes in and he's like the biggest moron because he's trying to be smooth, He's trying to like put his hand on the wall, trying to look clean, trying to look like, "Hey, what's up, girl?" You know what I'm saying? But he slips, his hand slips, and he just slams his head on the side of the wall. What an idiot. What an idiot. I met that barista actually a couple days ago. I met her by accident. Like I was in a Publix. I was just walking around, getting some, small stuff, and she tapped on my shoulder. She's like, "I saw you from like over there. I didn't know if it was you or not, but I saw you." And I'm like, "Oh my god, hey, what's up?" So we were talking a little bit, and it was fun. It was fun. Talking to her made me realize that I missed the homie a lot, because he was stupid, but he was the perfect kind of like a ride or die sort of person. So was his sister. She was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Me and her, we would like pretend we were dating, so we would piss him off because they're of course brother and sister. So like he didn't really love the idea of anyone dating his sister, but me and her, we would pretend to date, just to piss him off, and it was the funniest thing. God. I don't know. I'll admit I'm a bit kind of off today. I admit I'm a little bit off today. Even I kind of realized that the folly of trying to stay strong or sound normal when clearly inside like there's something that's just kind of off. So now is it. I guess the reason why I'm kind of off today is because today's, I guess, the anniversary for one of my other friends who passed away from a heart attack, unfortunately. He was a very young, very, very young fellow, and it's been 2 years now, almost, but needless to say, I miss him. So I guess thinking about him today made me think about the others, and here we are in like a little bit of a pit, but nothing too serious either, nothing too chaotic. So just it's whatever, it's whatever. But I'm gonna kind of end this video short. Only reason being because I don't want to get too emotional here, honestly speaking, but also because my eyes still brutally hurt from the eye appointment because they're dilated. So I'm gonna end it here. I just want to say to everyone watching, thank you. Truly thank you, and I hope you stay safe.